All right, guys, welcome to this how-to step-by-step guide on writing body paragraphs. Um, I have here my just a practice sheet that I'll work with you guys and show you how I'm structuring the body paragraph. But before I do, I wanted to show you how to the handout that I'm going to give you, which is your assignment. And I've included in this assignment right here, step 4, notes on how to make a successful body paragraph. There's 4 things you just need to remember. 1, you always make a statement at the beginning, provide an example which you have from your sources, analyze how the example reinforces your statement, and conclusion is simply restating the statement in a different way, and then you can move on to your next body paragraph exactly the same way. So you could use this for a little bit more of detailed notes and explanations as to which what statement means, what an example is, and what analysis you should do, and then what a conclusion looks like. And it's just a repeat process. Okay, so anytime you're writing an essay and you're thinking of your argument and points, you are going to be thinking about, for every statement I'm making, I need to provide an example. I need to back myself up. I can't just say something such as, I don't know, school has the greatest uh, percentage of graduates of any institution in the world. Okay, so that's a statement. Now, how do I prove it? You need to back it up with some kind of data that you get from a source. Unless, of course, you guys have a PhD beside your name, which could probably lead you to just make a statement and people have that trust in that you are an expert in the field. But since we're not, let's just focus on these 4 uh, formula that will help you write your body paragraph. Let's start. So to get my first sentence going, let's pull this up here. What I need to do is I need to go back to my introduction. Okay, and notice how things are happening in steps. We've done our research, we've done our hook, we've done our thesis, we're now done our introduction, and we now have an idea, or at least we're hoping that our reader has an idea of what we're going to argue. My thesis at the very end of the introduction is going to help me transition into my first body paragraph, which is going to argue effects of UV rays on the eyes. Perfect. Where do I get the information and the sources? That was done in our research. So here was the research. There was my topic 1. There's my source, WHO, and here are my 2 copied and pasted pieces of information. All right, now grade 9s, if you're listening, because you are doing an expository essay, you need to provide another point of view. That point of view could agree with yours or it could disagree with yours. In this case, this article from Healthwise is agreeing with the findings of the WHO, and I'm simply going to show that in my paragraph. All right, so we've got our research, check. We've got our intro, check. We've got our thesis down packed, check. We're ready to go. So let's make our statement, our first statement. So the easy thing for anybody to do would just be to copy and paste effects of UV rays on the eyes. You could do that, but you need to expand on it a little bit. It does require you to take a little bit more of a imaginative approach. So here we go. I have to make sure that my paragraphs are double spaced. So remember, go into Format, Paragraph, Line Spacing, Double. Okay. My font here is Calibri, but you could do Times New Roman. That's fine as well. And then notice how I start with a tab. Okay. I tabulate my first line, and we are going to write our first sentence. So if you could remember what our first sentence is just making a statement that comes from our thesis. Now, I am going to argue that UV rays have some kind of effect on the eyes that are going to impair or do something bad with my driving. So I could start off with something like this. Strong UV rays exposure has an almost immediate effect on vision, causing blindness. Okay, so based on my research, I know that strong UV rays exposure has an immediate effect on vision, causing blindness, especially when eyes come into contact. Well, let's make it into direct contact with the sun, which occurs frequently during driving. Okay, so I've done a couple of things here in my first sentence. I made a statement, number one, that the sun's UV rays exposure has an almost immediate effect on vision, causing blindness. And then I'm saying how that blindness happens, which is especially when eyes come into direct contact with the sun. And I reinforced it by saying, yes, this definitely happens a lot when driving. Because when we're not driving, we can definitely turn around and not do, not look at the sun. But when we're driving and we have our eyes on the road, it's unavoidable. So there's my statement. Now I could continue and talk about other things, but because I've just made a statement, and this is where many of you guys, when you're writing your essay paragraphs now and in the future, pause. Just stop after that first sentence and think about what you've just said and what you need to back it up. So as you know, we have taken two very short quotes from this article. And we have extreme UV levels kill the outer cells of the eyeball, leading to blindness. And we have squinting reflex minimizes the penetration of the sun's rays into the eye. So we have the body's mechanism of how to fight off blindness or fight off the UV rays. And we also have what we need, which is UV rays can cause blindness. So because I've done this, our next sentence is going to be evidence. So it comes from the World Health Organization. A really good tool that you guys could do, or a really good strategy, is simply to write according to. Okay, so according to the World Health Organization, you could even do WHO here. Okay, comma, and then what I could do is simply copy and paste this quote right there and match destination formatting and make sure that the paragraphs are still double spaced. So if this happens to you, that just happens to me, just got to go back and reset your spacing. All right, so there it is. I have my copied and paste evidence, which is reinforcing my statement. So now we just need to cite it. So all I do is I notice where I put my cursor right after the quote. I go into Insert, Footnote. And as soon as I insert the footnote, you will be taken all the way to the bottom of the screen, which is right here. Sorry about that annoying little pop-up there. And you can copy and paste your source, which is right here. Match destination formatting. And we're done. Okay, so notice what I've done. I've provided a quote, I inserted my footnote, and I got it here on the bottom. And all I did was copied and paste the information that I had in research. So, guys, this is why it's important to do your research first, to have all this nicely organized. So when you're writing your paper, all you're doing is copying and pasting very easily into your paper. All right, what's next? After we've done this, analysis comes straight after. So I could do something like this, although, because in my research I've learned that blindness is not caused right away. So although prolonged exposure for permanent blindness is necessary, UV rays, put the UV rays here with the capital, begin to break down the retina immediately, causes the eyelid to squint in order to. All right, so what I've done here is I've analyzed or I've anticipated somebody saying, yeah, but blindness is caused later on. It's not possible for me to look in the sun. And I've seen that in my research. But having your eye exposed to the sun already breaks down that retina, which prevents you from being able to see. And as you saw right here in my source, squinting reflex, okay? Squinting reflex, where you close your eyes and you can't see or you have very limited vision, is that big effect right off the bat. So I said UV rays begin to break down the retina immediately, which causes the eyelid to squint in order to minimize. And then I can simply copy and paste. So this, minimize the penetration of the sun's rays into the eye. Right here, okay? And done. So again, I insert the footnote, and because I'm using the same source, here's a really cool shortcut, guys. You simply write IBID. Done. So my analysis, I'm anticipating somebody saying that blindness cannot be caused right away. So I just said that here in my analysis. But the eyes, or the eye's reaction to the sun hitting your eye or the UV ray hitting your eye, is that you are going to squint. So now that I've made my statement, now that I've analyzed it and anticipated somebody arguing with me over it, I reinforced it, and now I'm going to analyze it. So such a reflex, which is the squinting, during driving, because we are driving a car when this happens, would limit, or instead of using the subjunctive, limits. Remember, if you catch yourself using would, should, or could, just like I did right there, stop and just simply change it back to simple. Simple helps you, and the indicative helps you, or helps your reader to realize, hey, this person knows what they're talking about. So such a reflex during driving limits or severely impairs the driver's vision. This reaction, according to the WHO, so no, I can simply go back to my source as I go along, accordingly, is unavoidable. Avoidable as even brief amounts of exposure to the rays causes painful shedding of red retina cells. I can continue with longer exposures. Blindness is highly possible. Okay, so I can stop here for the 7s and 8s. For the 9s, this is your opportunity to show a little bit of a different point of view or a different perspective. So because WHO is arguing blindness, and because HealthWise is doing the same, I can bring them in here as well, simply by saying a consequence is the blindness, which even health-wise. What's health-wise? A medical organization for British Columbia. Admits can occur if squinting or closing of eyes is overcome when operating vehicle. Okay. So we do have this in our quote right here. So all I do is I've made a statement, I've quoted health-wise, and all I'm do is I add another footnote and copy and paste your source, match destination formatting, and done. Okay. Last but not least, so if you're in grade 7 and 8, you don't have to worry about adding this little section. But if you are in grade 9 and you're doing expository paragraphs, you need to have something like this included. So mentioning another point of view in your essay. So now that I've done my statement, my evidence, my analysis, now I'm just going to conclude my paragraph. And usually you can do so by typing things like therefore or in conclusion. But we can just say therefore, seeing that the exposure to the light as bright as the sun. Still important for me to bring the sun in here, is not only severe in the long term, which is blindness, but also immediately causes the eye close or squint So driving on a bright, sunny day, they can increase, or we can say increases, the chances for a traffic accident. Done. Okay, so we have our statement, which is right here. We have our example. We have an anticipation, so an analysis. So I'm anticipating somebody disagreeing with me that if, blindness is not going to happen right away, which is true. However, something else happens immediately that's going to cause an accident, and then explaining or analyzing that reflex. And if you are in grade 9, I'm also providing or reinforcing this idea with another point of view, and then concluding it with a therefore. You can use therefore, thus, or so. Really depends on what you'd like to do. And that's it, guys. That is what writing a paragraph is all about. And you simply repeat. So you will repeat this for paragraph 2, and you will repeat these steps for paragraph 3. Do not write your conclusive paragraph or your conclusion. We'll get to that in about a week and a half. So please watch this video, rewatch it, see what see if you need any help. Contact me for ELA tutorials. We can go over this paragraph again together if you'd like. But I'm always here to help, and take your time, guys. Don't feel like you're rushed. I'm here to help you every step of the way, and hopefully by the end, you guys will have an amazing essay that you can use and reuse in your future studies. All right, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I look forward to your comments, and I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow if you need more help. Take care. Bye-bye.